Well, Donald Trump is on his victory tour saying thank you to the United States that elected him as president, the 45th president of the United States. He made a stop in Cincinnati, Ohio. InfoWars was, of course, on the ground to cover that. Owen Schwer and Michael Zimmerman. And guess what, folks? He had a word for the globalist. You know, his credo was Americanism, not globalism. We have an article. It's up on our website. It aggregated from Real Clear Politics. It talks about how Trump said no global flag, no global currency, and no global citizenship. That's what we're talking about. He first said thank you in this rally in Cincinnati, Ohio, and he's outlining how to put America first. He goes on to say that now's the time to embrace the one thing that continues to unite all of us, and it's our Americanism. He continued with, we hear a lot of talk about becoming a globalized world. Well, guess what? He's putting a stop to that, putting the globalist on the run. There's no global anthem, no global currency, no certificate of global citizenship. We pledge allegiance to one flag, and that flag is the American flag. You know, I couldn't be happier with this. We spent several weeks hammering home how globalism is Hillary Clinton's motto, frankly, and it took her down. And now we have an era of issued in peace. That's what's coming up next. And he goes on to talk about this vow that he's making. It's called a new era of peace. He's vowing that the U.S. is going to stop toppling regimes during the first leg of his presidency of this thank you tour. This is what he's saying. He's saying our goal is stability, not chaos, because we want to rebuild our country in its time. And I love this message because he's not a neocon president, folks. You know, Republican or Democrat, what's the difference these days? They all want these wars for profit, you know, invading countries and destabilizing them. And then we have this refugee mess that's bleeding at the helm. He's saying we're going to put a stop to that. And something else that he said I could not be happier about. He said, look, just because we're not toppling regimes anymore doesn't mean we're not going to be fighting ISIS, but we're going to be joining in with countries that are fighting ISIS. I'm directly quoting him now. Our goal is stability, not chaos, because we want to rebuild our country. It's time. He vowed then to rebuild the country's depleted military, and then he went on to repeat many of his campaign vows, one of which included fighting ISIS. And we know that Russia is cluster bombing in Syria right now, trying to get rid of ISIS, the ISIS that our State Department actually helped create, by the way, with our erratic and rogue policies, because we want to destabilize these governments. God only knows why, frankly. It's a sick agenda, and it would have very much continued under Hillary Clinton. But thanks to Donald Trump, it looks like we're going to focus on American values, American interest, and we're not going to be engaging in these foreign wars where we're bogging down our resources and then accepting a mass refugee population that we destabilized in the first place. That was on the agenda in his thank you tour. Now, I want to take you to another article. It's also up on our website. It's talking about WikiLeaks, because we know what Angela Merkel is doing to the European Union. We know what she's doing to Europe and to her own people, frankly. And there's a bombshell that's come out, and it's talking about how WikiLeaks is going to destroy, it could in fact destroy Merkel's plan for EU domination. This is a warning coming out of Julian Assange. There's been some questions about his whereabouts lately. After the Thanksgiving holiday, there was some concern that he may even be dead, but it looks like, in fact, that we have a confirmation that WikiLeaks has new information, and it's regarding Angela Merkel, and it could stop her in her intent to absolutely destroy and destabilize Germany. This is good news. You know, we put a stop to this here in America. We said no thank you to these rogue globalist policies, but it looks like she's been able to run amok in her own country and destroy Western Europe with these runaway policies where Germany is no longer recognizable to some of us looking at it. But it looks like this trove of WikiLeaks documents revealing the true scale of the cooperation between the German and U.S. spy agencies. It's at a risk to Angela Merkel herself. It might derail her hopes of dominating the EU. Now, he goes on to talk about in this article, when you get a second, take a look at it because it's up on our website, the BND, Foreign Intelligence Agency of Germany, and its counterpart, the NSA. WikiLeaks was able to gather a lot of information from these agencies, and it looks like we are bracing ourselves for a major reveal. You know, he promised a bombshell regarding Clinton on Christmas Day, and frankly, it might be one of the best Christmas gifts that we've gotten here, because Trump has said that he's not going to prosecute her. That doesn't mean that his administration won't. It doesn't mean that Jeff Sessions won't as head of the DOJ. It just means for now he's focused on the country and healing the country history. But you know what? With new information, you never know. So we have that to look forward to. Now, shifting gears for a moment, I want to take you to the mainstream media. You know, there's been a war lately in this country between the mainstream media. They're calling us fake news, other organizations and other outlets like Breitbart Media, Drudge, of course, InfoWars. We're actually spouting the truth and telling people the truth. They just can't handle it. There's an article written by Paul Joseph Watson, and he talked. Don't you just love Paul, by the way? His snarky intellect. I always find it a joy to read something that he's written or listen to his videos. Check this out. So he's talking about this Yahoo News columnist, and he wants U.S. schools to indoctrinate kids to, quote, trust mainstream media. This is what it's come down to. I'm talking about Matt Bay. And he talks about how social media giants like Facebook, they've censored, quote, fake news, which is actual real news, but that doesn't go far enough. He doesn't think that that's enough in getting the truth squashed. He wants schools to start something called a media literacy campaign to hold these classes that would instruct impressionable students on how to not trust sources of information. And what a radical form of thought. You know, somebody should tell him that this isn't North Korea. And hey, guess what? You don't have the hold on truth and journalism. They're so desperate that they've resorted to indoctrinating school children. That's the new push because, hey, guess what? Adults just aren't buying it anymore. You got to go after those impressionable little youth while their minds are still developing so that they trust all the garbage that you're putting out, which is ridiculous. What a radical solution to the crisis that's unfolding with them. Now, we know that Trump took the mainstream media on head on, and he won, by the way. And he's taking on a lot of other issues now that he's become president-elect. And one of them is how we treat our veterans in this country. Joe Biggs, he brought this report to you yesterday, and it's of this VA clinic and how it's most likely infected 600 veterans with HIV and hepatitis. Now, we know that the Veterans Affairs Administration, it is completely defunct in this country. We see veterans waiting months for care. Sometimes they're so frustrated, they commit suicide right outside a VA hospital because they just can't take it anymore. We've covered here the one VA hospital in Atlanta. They actually had to install this multi-foot fence on the top of their parking lot on the roof so veterans wouldn't jump over. This case, if you don't find it disgusting, I don't know what could disgust you, because when I read it, it made me physically sick. This Toma VA, it's being investigated. This case was regarding a dentist, and apparently they didn't sterilize the equipment properly, and it looks like they've infected as many as 600 of our nation's veterans. You know, our precious veterans, all they've done is fight for this country and sometimes engage in wars based on lies, but they did it with a pure heart and clean hands. They come back, they deserve care, and oh, guess what? We have these shoddy clinics that are infecting them with HIV and hepatitis. Thank you very much and Merry Christmas. Wow, that's reminiscent of a case of colonoscopies coming out of Tennessee 2 years ago, where they were also infecting veterans with hepatitis and HIV because of unsterilized colonoscopy equipment. It looks like, you know, our only hope is to get this VA system cleaned up in time so that cases like this, so that we can stop reporting on them, because frankly, they are just outrageous. And we know that Trump is going to tackle this because he promised to, and he brought to light a lot of the issues that veterans are facing. And sometimes we've seen people on the ground, and Owen Schroyer does a great job of interviewing these people. We have this up on our website about how Trump is bringing people together, and he was on the ground in Cincinnati. Take a look at this video clip.
Owen Schroyer from Infowars.com. I'm here with Adam and Noah. They just got out of the Donald Trump rally. Tell me, what was your experience like?
I'll tell you what, this is my first rally. I've never had any interest in politics growing up. I'm 27 years old myself. I just, realistically, I didn't feel like I understood enough or had a grasp of the reality that it's the whole world that affects our policies rather than, you know, just simple issues. But this rally or this election, I personally took an interest. Infowars, I use their products every day now, man. That brain force is off the chain good. And I learned politics. I delved into it, and there's no one else to go for but Donald Trump. And this, realistically, this is just a wonderful experience for me, just to really feel a part of the movement of, bringing back nationalism, Americanism. And I think that's realistically, that's what's going to make this country the great power and the entity that the rest of the world looked up to for so long. We're such a young country, and look at the things we've achieved.
Now, what about you, young man? This is a Trump rally you just went to. Was it your first Trump rally?
This is my second Trump rally, but I got caught on the outside of the last one in Westchester. I had to listen from a pretty long ways away.
So tell me about your experience in there.
It was really kind of unbelievable. I wasn't ready for all the power that was inside of it. The last one being on the outside, you kind of just hear more of the protesters than the people that actually get inside. But once you get inside, you see all the other people that believe in what he's saying and believe that there is hope for America still, and that we can make it the best it can be and bring it back to the best days it was.
Now, we know that Trump is bringing people together, but if you can believe this, the Electoral College, because of this bogus change.org petition, they're having to revote on an election that was already decided on November the 8th. Now, we have this article up also by Paul Joseph Watson, and it talks about how the Democrats are trying to stall this recount in Wisconsin to steal the electoral votes from Donald Trump. They want to use politics to undermine the will of the voter, and that's exactly what they're doing. And I just want to take you to this one piece of this article. It talks about how Jill Stein, who actually spoke to InfoWars and talked about how Hillary Clinton would start World War III, apparently something has happened to Jill Stein's brain in the course of the time she talked to us at InfoWars. And now, because she clearly wants to give Hillary Clinton the election because Hillary Clinton couldn't do it legally, so now they want to try this bogus crap to do it illegally. Now, going back to this article for a moment, all the votes in Wisconsin have to be certified by December 13 before electors meet on December 19 to formally cast their votes. And this article talks about how Democrats in certain counties, they're trying to stall the vote, like in Dane County, Wisconsin, for example, because it's very liberal and Madison is located there. And they think that if they can stall the votes in this 6-day period, that the electoral won't be able to meet. And then those electoral votes that originally went to Trump, they won't be going to Trump any longer. So dirty tactics, it's not going to stop Trump from becoming president. They're just trying to mar him and muddy him up before he ever gets there, because we know that, they just can't accept the election results, despite saying that we're all crazy if we don't accept the election results. But if they do it, they're practicing their democracy. I don't know what they're thinking over there, but it's not going to work anyway, so it doesn't even matter. And it's a gigantic waste of our time to even be talking about it, other than the fact that it's so ludicrous. And speaking of other things that are ludicrous, we found this article for you. It's on the Daily Caller. We have it up on our website as well. I want to take you to the San Bernardino terrorist, Saeed Farouk, and his wife. It turns out that they didn't want to go to their Christmas party, which his wife expressed on Facebook, on her social media page, that she felt that she didn't want to participate in a non-Muslim holiday event. Hence, they decided to kill 14 coworkers in their Christmas party because they didn't want to attend the office Christmas party that was mandatory. Now, gunning down 14 of their coworkers, they then circle the city for 4 hours. And of course, they're spotted by local law enforcement that shot them both dead after engaging police in a gun battle. So the tolerant religion of peace that they espouse to, apparently they were pushed to violence and murdering 14 people over a Christmas party because, we have the right to say no to those things. And if you don't agree, then we're going to just shoot all of you until you die. So that's what's going on over here. Now, talking about the migrant issue, continuing on, this article, Leanne McAdoo actually wanted to talk to you about this evening. It's written by Chris Tomlinson. It talks about how migrants in Germany, they're insulating themselves from integrating into society. They're becoming more insular and rejecting Western society and Western values in mass numbers. This is according to a new study. And it's citing poverty, which is hilarious because poverty is not a reason to become insular and reject Western society. We know that this is an underlying agenda. The non-assimilation is a common practice. And just because people are poor, I don't even get that study, frankly, because we know that the reason of poverty, Germany has overwhelming social programs, and that just seems like an excuse to me. But anyway, we've heard a lot of excuses here in the States as well. Taking you to that Ohio State shooting, and the suspect was shot and killed. He butchered 9 people after ramming them with his car. And OSU students, if you can believe this, they're blaming racist America for this terror attack. We have an article up on our website. It aggregated from Rebel Media. Take a look at this reporter as she asked the students why they think this happened.
You feel safe on campus after the attack this week?
Yep.
You do? Would you call it a terrorist attack?
Depends on what your definition of terrorism is.
According to your definition.
No.
Would you call what happened terrorism?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
I would say it was a misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding? Why would you say that?
Because I think that that person probably experienced a lot of racism, and racism is a traumatic experience.
It's good to know OSU students are getting their money's worth, being taught how to think for themselves over there. That's really comforting, hearing their responses as to that terrorist attack. Be sure and stay tuned for more special reports like this.
Our fellow info warriors across the United States and across the planet really love the Hillary for Prison 2016 shirts that we began to put out in 2015. It became a global meme against globalism and corruption, and a very strong maxim that's now being continued on today. Now, President-elect Trump has come out and said it's not his job as president to call for prosecution. He's not supposed to. But that obviously Jeff Sessions, as the new Attorney General, if he's confirmed, will certainly carry out his duties. But Roger Stone a few weeks ago, right after the election, said, "Alex, you got to bring Hillary for Prison back." And I said, "Yeah, but it's a limited edition. It's over. You know, she's been defeated so far." And he said, "What about Hillary for Prison 2017? We need those at the inauguration. They're trying to intimidate Trump supporters and nationalists everywhere. That shirt is powerful. It's not just a shirt supporting Trump, like your shirt that says Trump is my president, which we put out before he won, predicting it, putting our name, our guts on the line, but something exposing who the other team was pushing so that people don't forget and so that the push for justice continues." So it's a great way to support the broadcast. It's a great way to have another historic shirt to spread the word and to meet like-minded people of every race, color, and creed who bleed red blood and want justice. It's available. It's another limited run. I don't know how long we're going to offer it, but definitely only a few months. It is Hillary for Prison 2017, and here's the biggest and best part I almost forgot. This shirt arrived in an 18-wheeler, printed right here in the USA a week ago, and I forgot. I've been so busy to even talk about the fact it's been in the store. That on the back of the shirt is a design that I worked on with some of our great graphics people that is George Soros as a goblin. I made a goblin joke a year ago about Trump, saying you better not, actually get in bed with the goblins if he has to work with politicians, but I understand if he has to actually, get knee-deep in their political guts, but he just can't get caught in bed with a goblin. So we now have George Soros, because the media attacked me on this whole goblin meme. They've made huge jokes about it, but it's totally blown up in their face. We now have George Soros as a goblin on the back, and it says, with a cross through him, an X like Ghostbusters, no Soros, him as a goblin. It says deport Soros on the bottom, and on the top it says InfoWars established 1996. So it is a limited edition, deport Soros on the back, Hillary for Prison on the front, right-hand shoulder, Infowars.com. It's powerful. Hope you get out to everybody you know. Infowarsstore.com or call 888-253-3139. So to all the fellow liberty lovers around the world, I salute you and thank you for your support. This shirt is a celebration of the fight and the victory we've seen in 2016 against tyranny, but looking forward for justice against George Soros, Hillary Clinton, and their entire criminal network. And don't forget our new motto, no more pizza parties.